global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned.
Hello beautiful people, welcome back to our channel. As we speak right now, there's quite a lot of despair in Nigeria over what the future holds. 2027 election seem to be by the corner because of the already campaigns that have begun in earnest, even though it's not supposed to. And most Nigerians are beginning to wonder how will 2027 be like, even though the president, APC, have decided to make a lot of political reforms, policies, reforms. It is not having a trickle effect in the average Nigerian at the grassroots level. Hence, the despair is increasing, wondering what will the future hold if already in 2025 Nigeria looks like this. Well, as we speak, top Nigerian activists, human rights actors, lawyers, and foremost human rights lawyer who have given himself a name, victim of Nigeria. I'm talking about none other than Dele Farontimi. I've said to send warnings about what Nigerians feel to top political gladiators in Nigeria like PeterObi, ElRufai, Ameachi, APC, Ameachi, Ameachi, the likes, atiku, who will be the top gladiators that will form the political acting in 2027, and is telling them what will become of 2027 or what Nigerians are definitely holding forth against them if time is not taken, or if they don't change these moves they're about making. Well, before we go to the newspaper, kindly subscribe to our channel. Let's start with what he's saying about APC, but then what he said about PeterObi and the coalition moves. Now, according to Dele Farontimi, the prominent Nigerian lawyer delivered his cutting assessment of the current administration's performance and its effect on ordinary Nigerians. Farontimi expressed a paradoxical sense of gratitude toward the ruling party for what he described as their role in exposing systematic governance failure. I think it has now come to a point where I must thank God for the APC, for Tinubu particularly, and for how they have helped. Farontimi stated during an interview. The legal practitioner argued that the current leadership has inadvertently served as a stark illustration of Nigerians' governance challenges. I don't need to say much to show the average Nigerian the level of petrifaction that has now attended every layer of governance in this country. He explained, because of them, it is easy to see the level of impunity that governs Nigeria. While acknowledging that the administration has maintained consistency with previous policies, Farontimi was critical of their overall performance. Aside from that capacity to show us how low governance can fall in Nigeria, there is nothing they have shown. He remarked, it is not like they have been any worse than Buhari's regime in terms of policy choices. Farontimi noted that the current administration has fulfilled certain campaign promises, though not necessarily in the ways that benefit citizens. At least, if nothing else, they were consistent in saying that they will build on the ruinous foundations of Buhari, and they have done that reasonably well. Nobody can take that away from them, he observed. However, the lawyer reserved his harshest criticism for the administration's impact on everyday Nigerians across different regions of the country. When it comes to the impact on the average Nigerian on the street, in their homes, this government has been ruining us from the plateau to Benue through to rainforests of southern Nigeria, Farontimi concluded. Well, the interview highlights concerns about governance and the lived experiences of Nigerian citizens under the current administration. Meanwhile, he talked about PeterObi, and this is what he's got to say. He said this is what he has to say. He said it would depend on what PeterObi, plans to do with power. Power. I am not following a person. I am not following a man, Farontimi stated, while maintaining his positive assessment of former Anambra State Governor. The legal practitioner stressed that personal qualities alone would not guarantee his continued support. He's a good man, and insofar as it relates to those who are running for the presidency of today, he's still the best in my own view. Farontimi acknowledged. However, he expressed concerns about potential political compromises that could undermine Obi's effectiveness if elected. He said, and I quote him, "But the question is this: What kind of compromises might he have made before then? If I don't see a platform that promises me change, deliverable change, I am not going to follow him, the author warned. Farontimi outlined his criteria for supporting any political candidate, emphasizing institutional independence and practical governance capacity. If he's on a platform where I know that he can deliver what he is promising, and he will not be institutionally strangled by the system that has brought him to power, then I will follow him, he explained. The lawyer specifically identified certain political partnership that would end his support entirely, naming former Kaduna State Governor ElRufai and former Transportation Minister Ameachi. But if I'm seeing a PeterObi paired with an ElRufai on a ticket, or I'm seeing him with an Ameachi, I will not follow him. It's not even possible, Farontimi declared emphatically. He concluded by reiterating that the fundamental requirement for transparent governance plans from any candidate seeking is backing. But the point is there has to be clarity onto what he plans to do with power, the legal expert emphasized. Farontimi's comments reflect growing demands among Nigerian voters for concrete policy proposal and strategic clarity from opposition candidates ahead of 2027 general elections. Now, this is great. I for one, I have looked at PeterObi. The wars around him is big. The wars around him is filled with a lot of thorns politically. And I've looked at him. I would have preferred a Dati. A Dati is also someone who has a clean slate. A Yusuf Dati would have been a perfect pair, who understands him, who understands the mandate. Mr. ElRufai is with PeterObi, not because he loves PeterObi, not even because he believes in the ideology of PeterObi. It's because he was kicked out in the APC schemes of affair, because he was kicked out by tinubu in this administration, because he's not among the creme de la creme enjoying these policies. I could still remember the same Mr. ElRufai was in the governance of Buhari. What did he do in Kaduna State? Let's tell ourselves the truth. He talked about body bags. He's not particularly sent, but we can't just all of a sudden forget his deeds. Nigerians should be very quick, because just the same way we say, according to the then governor of Edo State, he said that when you port from any other party, PDP to APC, your sins are forgiven. And if your sins are forgiven, then it should also be said the same way when you had a bad record politically. When you now port to PeterObi, then you are a saint politically. It's about the same rhetorics, and I think it's totally wrong. If you have had your way and your say in past governance and it was terrible, you pairing with someone who has a good slate does not make you a better person. I feel that PeterObi should pair with someone he can have control over. I do not see PeterObi, even if he pairs with ElRufai, I don't see him controlling ElRufai. I'm telling you the truth. They may be like a synergy now because they want to remove a common enemy. But it will remind me of the Olusegun Obasanjo and Atiku ticket. If you were an adult during the time when Olusegun Obasanjo was ruling with Atiku, they literally, brought out the dirty linen outside. Each one of them. Atiku was not quite a supportive VP in that time, especially during the end. They were throwing shades at each other. So I see that happening. And PeterObi is more of a gentleman. He doesn't play dirty politics. But ElRufai can do that if you allow him. So honestly, I stand with Farontimi on this. But let's hope that PeterObi, because at some point, let's tell ourselves the truth, that ground is rugged. You still need some level of ruggedity to penetrate. They wouldn't want a saint. They wouldn't want someone. He said he's not a saint, but they wouldn't want somebody as good as him to mount that saint, because a lot of loopholes will be blocked. Well, let's meet in our comment section. What's your take?